Welcome to my plate number 3. These are all issues, let me put this down, all issues that happened during my day. So how was your day, bombshell, is turning into my plate. And why is that, you ask? Well, because all of us are eating really off of the same proverbial plate. We just have to do our hand washing, hand sanitizing, make sure that we're cleanly people. Why? Because it matters to each and every one of us that we do not get coronavirus, or aka COVID-19. So that's my little reminder for y'all out there to be washing your hands. Now, like I said, we're going to make this How Was Your Day bombshell, as well as issues or problems that have either concerned my day or concerned me in some way, or someone has emailed me or asked me questions and want answers. So, the first thing, I woke up late. So I missed the Meals on Wheels guy. Didn't give him a gift of thankfulness or gratefulness, as I call it. But I did get to meet the mail lady, gave her some brownies, gave her some free candy canes that they had down there at B&D for her family, and a bottle of orange pop. So thought she got a thank you. And I made sure to let her know that we appreciated her for her service that she gives by bringing the mail, which is sometimes not easy because my packages are not always small, and letting her know that we appreciate her putting herself at risk during COVID-19 to bring the mail, and also the all kinds of weather, snow, rain, sleet, or hail. With Grandpa being a former mailman, we wanted to definitely show that she mattered to us and that we appreciate her. There was a coupon in my mail today for the Shoe Sensation. Now I'm going to share this with you because they have a grand opening scheduled for March 27th through to the 29th. Now, the Friday, they say you can enter to win free shoes for a year. And Saturday, they say doors open at 9 a.m. Be one of the first 100 people in line to get a mystery tote bag with up to $100 in Shoe Sensation rewards. And you can enter to win a $50 or $100 shopping spree. Sunday is win free shoes for your entire family. And of course, a 20% off any one item on the front of their card. But my question is, if Illinois is shut down until April 7th, will this still be taking place? Because after all, we can't have more than 10 people at a gathering. So I have questions regarding that. Going to move forward. I ain't going to do too much politicking tonight because y'all know how I feel about the politics anyway, so I don't really have to explain myself. The disappointment of my day. I had put an order in for some dumbbells that were 8 pounds each for each arm on eBay. Found out today that, well, first, I thought I heard the car alarm go off. Anyway, the first thing that was wrong was the guy said that he didn't have the blue set that I wanted, so he was going to send yellow. I said, no problem, send yellow as long as they're 8 pounds. So we set a date for today for them to be delivered, which would have worked out wonderful, but I was off today, and like I said, I got the mail, and I got this long envelope, flat, nothing enclosed, never been opened, just sealed. His name and my name was on it, priority mail. Now, I messaged him, and I said, what kind of joke is this? And he goes, what kind of joke is what? I swear I sent you the item. And I showed him pictures and sent him picture. And eventually he sent me a refund, and he still says that I will be expecting the weights in the mail, which I hope they are, because I plan on moving up to 10-pound weights. These are very important to me. I'm only on 6 pounds right now, okay? But I want to be moving up to 10-pound weights. So that's where I'm at with that. And it's very important to me. It matters to me. So, and I'm reducing what I eat again. My weight is mattering to me again. So it's all about health and well-being now, especially with this COVID-19. I think sometimes it takes a shake up to make us wake up. And of course, I'm not working out as often as I did. I don't do every night. I do every other night. The reason being, I'm scared to put myself, I'm already at high risk for this COVID-19 with my age group, but I have a pre-existing condition, asthma. I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I don't trust this hospital. But that's another story, because I always think in the back of my mind, about Grandma and how uneducated really Sarah Bush was to handle her. And when we shipped her up to Carl, before we could go even in the room, we had to put the gloves on, we had to put the gown on, we had to put the mask on before we could even enter the room. So, it makes you wonder, maybe she might have had a strain of this and nobody really knew how to handle it then. But anyway, I want to get on to the next topic. My hair. Somebody asked me if I've been coloring my hair. What are the plans for my hair? Am I still going to donate my hair? Let me answer all three of those questions. My grandfather won't let me color my hair. He's never let me color my hair. So, in a way, that's been a blessing, I think, because you don't see gray. It's all blonde. All me. At my ripe old age of, how old am I? There goes that forgetfulness. I want to say 42. Yes, I'm 42. So, anyway, this is all my hair. How long do I plan to let it grow? At least down to my middle of my back. What's my plans for my hair? I want to donate, again, like I've done twice before, to someone in need, who is either a cancer patient or in need of hair, can't afford to buy hair, and is in need of hair. I want to donate. That is one of my things of giving back. Maybe it's a good thing during this, shut in, shut down, whatever you want to call it, that I can't go to the hairdresser right now. I've been very diligent at making sure that it's still good enough to donate. Yeah, you get hair breakage, but what's new, And with PCOS, you can run your hand through and sometimes, hair will come out, but that's just the story of my life. I'm always expecting the worst, It's not like I get too many good moments, but that's the way life is. Speaking of moments, segues into eerie moments. Lately I've been dropping knives. I've taken a few pictures of the knives that I dropped and shared with you. There was a cute one when I dropped the knife last week, and Sammy, you could see the shadow of him. And my mom always said, and so did Grandma, that if you drop a knife, then a man's going to come visit. May it be the man of my dreams, is all I can say on that. I was in at Dollar Tree. Grandpa was in the car waiting on me to come out. And this girl ahead of me was talking about second chances at love and how sometimes things work out and everything. And I said, oh, well, it's never done that for me yet. And she goes, don't say that. She goes, see that guy that went out to get the change purse for me? She goes, we broke up. She goes, my grandma had called it, this is so ironic, that we would get back together, and I didn't believe her. She goes, fate intervened, and we're getting married. And I was just like, I think my eyes just bugged out of my head. And she just goes, so don't ever say that. That's never going to happen. So I was like, okay, fine. So, like I said, after I got up, didn't have breakfast, had lunch. I'll go back to my day and do a rewind. I had the Lean Cuisine spaghetti with no meatballs, but it had mushrooms, and I love mushrooms like that in my spaghetti. It was totally awesome because there was no meatballs. It was all meatless, but it had the flavoring of meat. Still good. I didn't have breakfast this morning, so I skipped that. I ate the lunch. Had a shower. That's when I did my hair. So the little hair question got me segued there. Then we went to Aldi's, which was, you get in the mode. You're like, okay, got to get this, got to get out of here. Because you don't want to be around too many people right now with the social distancing, right? And then the other thing that you're scared of is, if somebody sneezes or coughs, oh my goodness, then I'm going to get it, So with my two pre-existing conditions, one being asthma, one being PCOS, and, Grandpa actually going out in that store, I was not wanting to, be out too long. So we didn't. So that was probably a good thing. Anyway, got done there, went to the Dollar Tree. Then we went out to, I don't know why my computer's going off. Oh, one of my friends is messaging me on Facebook. I left that up. That was my bad that I left it up. I apologize. Anyway, went to Wendy's, went through the drive-thru, and got some food there. Went out to the cemetery. That's one of the hot topics. And this cemetery that Grandma is buried at has things all over the cemetery saying that this last week of March is cleanup week. They put it in the paper. They posted on Facebook. And when I called and I was concerned about some of the things that were on her grave, They told me nothing in front and nothing behind could be left on her grave. So I thought, let's go out there, just make sure that all the stuff that was on the tombstone was still left there. We go out there, and I am just fuming mad because I'm riding around with some of those stuff that was on the grave on the back of my SUV, and here's these got posts out there after she told me nothing in behind, nothing in front, and I'm thinking to myself, have they even started the cleanup? This is Tuesday, and to me, it's like it's still not cleaned up. So I'm a little bit aggravated and fuming at that. Okay, so I want to go on to baking and why I bake. They say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, so maybe there's always hope in that effect. Maybe grandma's trying to give that guy out there a push to say, hey, you know what? She makes wonderful pot roast. She does wonderful home-cooked meals. She never forgets her family. She always puts them first, and she's learned how to bake to share with friends and family, to make them feel appreciated, to make them feel like a somebody. If he's watching this video, maybe he'll hear my words. I hope it doesn't fall upon deaf ears. But anyway, baking to me has filled that void. I was grandma's caregiver as well as granddaughter there for the last several years. And, you have that, oh, did she take her medicine? Did she do a breathing treatment? And it's not there anymore. And you feel like you got to learn something to stay busy. And baking has been a great filler of time, if you will. And that's why I bake cupcakes, cakes, and cookies and stuff, muffins and stuff. And it's a good way to give back. It makes people realize that they matter to you and that you appreciate anything that they do. It's just like I said before when we gave the... I regret that I didn't get to give the Meals on Wheels guy an appreciation gift today, and I apologize, but maybe in the future. But the Mayo girl, we made sure she had B&D candy canes, a thing of pop, and I gave her a little container of brownies. And I just told her, I said, we appreciate you. You put yourself at risk to bring the mail to us during this virus time. You put, and through rain, snow, sleet, and hail, some of the packages I've ordered online are not the greatest. They're big. And, for you to be able to do that, I feel so blessed that you do that for us. And it's a sign of appreciation. And she was overwhelmed with joy. And I said, Grandpa used to be a mail person. So I said, thank you. And she just said, you don't know how much that means. We do a thankless job that most people just take for granted. And it means a lot. And I felt like I made an impact today. So that's a good thing. I made some more brownies tonight. Like I said, when I bake, it's more or less for those people that have impacted my life. And I feel like I can give back to them because they have brought positivity of light and joy to my life. They have influenced me in a positive manner, like my work mom to Miss Wanda, who... they are up there in years, but I feel like it's very important for our elderly to be taken care of. I've ordered some more books on eBay. Going to eBay and the disappointment of my day. One of my dear friends I had posted, to my Facebook page automatically like that when the dumbbells happened, and he was nice enough to put on there, you're always thinking the worst. You jump to conclusions too quickly. He goes, give the guy a chance. Maybe he did send it. This is just a mix-up. He goes, and he did give you your money back. So don't assume the worst about this guy. And the more I thought about it, the more he was right. And sometimes I am my own worst enemy, right? So I don't always stop to think. It's that Irish temper that I have. Sometimes words come spiraling out before I have time to think on it. But, it is what it is. And I told the guy, I didn't, go down his throat and be totally mean or rude. I just said I was disappointed. I, first was disappointed in the wrong color, but I was going to let it go because it's all about health and well-being for me right now and being the best me that I can possibly be. And I've cut back again on what I'm eating. If it makes me a little bit more grouchy, which some of you have told me it does, I'm only trying to improve myself, and I hope that you support that. I'm only trying to do a better, healthy version of me like I was once before. Hopefully I can get back to that again. And I want to be an inspiring light to the world, to inspire others like I was before. So that's where I stand with that. Now, we're moving forward. Dark Side of the Ring. It's a documentary, and it featured more or less the late, great Eddie Guerrero tonight, who passed away from a drug overdose, unfortunately. And then how his close friend and co-worker, Chris Benoit, could not handle his death. And eventually, Chris Benoit went home one weekend, took the life of his wife and son, and then killed himself. You know, those two stories impact me so greatly, because at that time I remember taping with a VCR the matches and rewinding the matches, watching some of them because the storyline seemed so real, and being like, oh my goodness, you know, and just hearing what those two went through on a day-to-day basis, what they put themselves and their bodies, their families and friends through on a day-to-day basis was overwhelming. And you know, it was so personal to me on a lot of levels, because they talked about chair shots and how they got concussions. And some of you know that Mike was, well, he still is, I don't know how strongly he is into it, but he was a professional wrestler at the time we were dating. And, you know, that would have been me. I could have been, you know, Vicky Guerrero. I could have been Nancy Benoit. And, you know, it just makes you thank God out there for unanswered prayers in a way, but in another way you wonder, what if, you know? And Chris Jericho was always one of my favorite wrestlers. He was featured on that documentary. So is JR, always one of my favorite announcers, still is. And to see how close they were to both of those individuals, and to bring that story to light, where the national media had practically almost destroyed professional wrestling. Chris Jericho had that right on the money. I think, you know, the sad part is that we won't ever see in our lifetime Chris Benoit getting into the WWE Hall of Fame. But at the same time, I think that Nancy Benoit, as Chris Jericho said, should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And he did such a tremendous job of reuniting the aunt and the nephew of Chris Benoit. It was just overwhelming. And to see Chris Benoit's son, who looks so much like a carbon copy of Chris Benoit, was overwhelming as well. And, you know, just because someone looks like someone, we shouldn't treat them harshly. We shouldn't message them or be like holding them to a standard of their parent, because they are not their parent. And I think that's what, you know, that's another thing that was bothersome on that tribute. So, very overwhelming day, okay, that we shared with you here today. Briefly, I'll touch on the politics, on why I stayed up so late. I was watching World News Now. I got wrapped up into hearing that the president was hoping to get our country going again by Easter, beautiful Easter. And I don't know if I can support that. We have more states doing what we're doing, which is the shutdown, lockdown, whatever you want to call it. Stand in, shelter in place, whatever. You know, where nothing basically is open except for essential needs. Do I think it's over the top? Maybe. But is it necessary? Maybe. The only one who knows that is God above. We can't judge. And if more people did the essential in place, maybe we wouldn't be at risk like we all are right now. I think that if we rush back too soon, it's going to give us the negative thing, and we're going to be worse off than we were before. We have to really be careful here. This is an illness that none of us really know how to handle. All jokes aside, we don't know if there's really medication out there people can take to either prevent it or to treat it so they get it through faster and get through this alive. We've seen people get through this. I mean, look at Tom Hanks and his wife. They were in Australia, right? They made it through it, but that just took a lot of time to get them to that point. At this point, I don't know if our medical system could withstand everybody going back to work, putting themselves back at that risk that possibly this virus comes back and even worse than it was before. And for that one person that was just so ignorant that I got to see on media tonight. Maybe he said this just to get his TV time. But where he said grandparents would die for their grandchildren to live on. That is so insane, sir. And I think that you should not even be in the office that you're in. I think you're a governor in Texas. All I can say is God be with you when you get up to those pearly gates, because that's a remark that you should have never even made. Anyway, don't have much more to share with you tonight. Like I said, I'm really wrapped up in keeping up with the news and keeping up with the coronavirus, which most of us probably are. It impacts us all, whether we like it or not. I just hope that y'all are doing something out there to be an inspiration during this time. If you have the means to help the less fortunate, please do so. I seen where Candace Bure had something on either Facebook or Instagram where she was working with the Salvation Army, and I applaud that wholeheartedly. I think we should, if they have the means and the availability to help the less fortunate, this is the time to lend a helping hand. Maybe not the actual hand, but you know what I'm saying, a proverbial hand. Like St. Jude, I believe there was one person found there with the COVID-19. You know what? We've got to help those in need. Help the less fortunate. Whether it's a child at one of those children's hospital, whether it's our elderly neighbors, our elderly co-workers, our elderly friends, our elderly family. Go out there. Make a difference if you have to get out. But if you can do it from home, pick up that phone. Dial in their numbers before it's too late. Hear their voice. Don't be going, what if? Or I wonder if this would have changed if I would have said that. This is a time where we all should forgive. This is a time where all the mistakes should be erased and we should be like we are the world. And, you know, that's what we need right now more than anything else. None of this pointing fingers, placing blame, laying these things down the line about a stupid check. I could almost pull my hair out over that word. All we have to do is focus on helping each other the best way we can without putting up our own personal borders, our own personal walls. There's ways to help people out. Like I said, call people up. Say, hey, I'm just curious. Do you have everything you need right now? Is there anything I can do to help you out? Hey, do you need maybe some food? What can I do to help? That's what you need to be doing, okay? If you know that somebody has an address maybe that you haven't seen them out, you're concerned. Write a thinking of you card. Make it homemade. You don't have to go to the store. You just get a piece of paper, construction paper. Doesn't have to be the most beautiful artwork Van Gogh ever seen. Write on there, thinking of you. Open up the card, put on there, how are you? Ha ha. Something, to make a smile happen. Get something off of Google. I mean, I'm sure most of you have a computer, cell phone at home. You don't have to be sitting there going, what if I'm bored? It doesn't take but a second to make a difference in somebody else's life. And right now is not the time for grudges. Right now is not the time for anger. And if we can just lay down our own swords, so to speak, whether we're Democrat, Republican, or whatever, and be there to see the greater good of the people, to see the big picture, not a limited version, but a big picture on how this affects all of us, because we're all in this together. That's what matters most. With that, I hope those words are words that you not only think on, but act on. Love each and every one of you. God bless.